First question today. What do you think about couch surfing? So couch surfing, for those of you who are not familiar with the term, it's both a term and it's a network. The term just means kind of traveling around and sleeping on people's couches as an alternative to staying in hostels or in hotels or on Airbnbs, things like that. You just go and crash, and usually it's casual, and it's kind of understood that it's just something that the owner of said couch is doing as a good deed to allow you a free place to stay. The network is predicated on that concept. And the network, I believe, started out as a nonprofit. I think now maybe it's a for-profit. It has changed significantly over the years, but it's still considered to be the biggest network for people looking for couch surfing opportunities, particularly in places where they don't know anybody. So they don't know anybody with a couch in these places. You go onto this network, it's kind of like a social network like Facebook, and you can find people in that area and say, hey, I'm coming to town, I need a couch, or I need to know about this town, any recommendations, and it's a good location for that type of thing. I've used couch surfing, and it's been invaluable in the few times that I have used it. Typically just being in the position that I'm in where I do have the money to pay for something when I travel. I try to do that when I can. I tend to see couch surfing as either something that you do when you stay with friends or family, or if you have the money, then you pay for it, contribute to the economy, and allow somebody to help make their living off of it. If I didn't have money, I would totally do that. But because my lifestyle is oriented the way that it is, that's something that I make sure I have money for. But I do think it's a wonderful experience. I think it's wonderful that it exists. I think it's a great way to share culture. Typically, when I do pay for something, I don't go for hotels. I go for like an Airbnb, which can be very much the same thing because I want to meet a local. I want to live where a local lives. I want to get advice on things. And so those types of experiences allow you to really dig in to a culture much faster and to learn a lot of the things that you wouldn't learn from like a paid tour. So in those regards, and many more, I think it's a great service. I think it's a great way to travel, particularly if you're young or if you don't have a bunch of money, if you're on gap year or something like that. There's a lot of people all over the world in a great big network who would be happy to host you. Reach out on the internet, be kind, be courteous, be clean, be respectful. If you can, if it's in the budget, buy some food, get a bottle of wine, something like that as a thank you. If nothing else, leave the place a little bit better than you found it if you can. And just be very, very considerate of everybody there because they are doing you a great big favor. And then karma-wise, in return, if at some point you have a couch to loan out, definitely go through and do that and try to host other people as well and share that wealth when you can. Share the locality wealth and show people around your town and make them feel welcome when they come and visit you. So the second question today, don't you doubt yourself or your path sometimes? And what do you do when you start doubting? Well, the answer is yes, absolutely. But I also try really hard to put that doubt into context every time I feel it. And what I mean by that is that I don't just say, oh man, this definitely won't work. This probably won't. I probably shouldn't even try. What I do is I think, well, this may not work. This is a great big risk, this business opportunity, or this travel plan that I have, or this lifestyle choice. No way this works. But I should probably try it anyway, because 1, I will regret it if I don't. 2, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, I can cope with it if that happens. 3, the potential benefits would be immense, and if it doesn't work the first time, maybe I can try again and take what I learned from that first experiment and then maybe get a little bit closer, and so on. And so all of these details, really analyzing the situation, is the context that you want when you're experiencing doubt. And it may be that you look at that context and actually say, oh wow, this would actually be a really stupid thing to do because there's no great payoff and the risk is so high that it's nearly impossible and the consequences are intolerable, death or losing a limb or something. Like there's a lot of reasons why that context could inform that doubt to the point where the doubt maybe, informs you to retreat. And that's totally legitimate too. In most cases, though, for me, that doubt becomes kind of then a flog where I'm flogged forward a little bit because I feel that doubt. And when I feel it, I recognize it as a sign that I'm pushing myself. And I'm pushing myself to do something a little difficult. I'm pushing myself In the same way, when you're lifting weights, what you're really doing is straining your muscles and injuring them a little bit, but injuring them just enough so that they heal back a little bit stronger. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to push myself just up to the limit where I don't injure myself, but I do stress myself. And stress not in the like I'm stressed out way, but like stressed in the sense that I'm pushing right up against what I think I can do. And then little by little, as I feel that doubt, and then I overcome it, and then I do things, and then I, check in and see what I learned, I become capable of more. And then the periphery, the radius of that doubt moves further and further out every time I do something. And over time, then you start doubting less. You still doubt, and you'd be stupid not to, or uninformed not to. But recognizing that context makes the doubt a useful thing rather than something that you look at and then it boxes you in and makes you think that you can't accomplish anything. If you do find yourself in this situation, and this happens in a lot of cases for people who live maybe very sheltered lives or lives that are very structured and then they're trying to do something unstructured, if you find yourself in a situation where you're doubting and then the context that you put around it just makes it seem like you can't do anything, like even something that intellectually you probably should be able to do and it would be fine, you still find yourself questioning it and coming up short every time, consider just taking a few leaps. Not literal leaps off cliffs and not leaps that are incredibly dangerous, but leaps where the consequences would be relatively soft and that you'll survive the situation one way or another. Maybe it'll be embarrassing, maybe it'll be uncomfortable, but if you can take a few of those leaps, that might show you or at least twist your context a little bit in the future so that you get a more accurate reading rather than a reading that's predicated on that sheltered life or that very organized life that you were living and that you want to break free of a little bit. Taking steps that you know that you'll probably fail when you take them, that can help break those walls down. And then once you break out of that a little bit, then you'll see what you're capable of outside of that familiar and safe structure. So it's a little bit more difficult if that's the case, and a lot of us have gone through that, myself included, but taking a few of those leaps and then surviving and recognizing that, okay, it's not the end of the world to be embarrassed or to do something and look stupid. That is incredibly empowering, and it really does help you muscle through a lot of the doubt that you feel in the future. Thank you guys so much for your questions. If you have a question you'd like me to answer in a future episode, you can leave it in the comment section below or go to the Consider This Facebook page and ask it there. If you enjoyed this episode, you can give me a thumbs up like, that would be awesome, or you can subscribe to this channel to make sure you see all the videos that I post in the future. You can find me elsewhere on the internet, Snapchat, Instagram, Vine, Twitter, pretty much all over the place at Colin is my name. You can find out more about me and my work, including my books that I write, which is what I do for a living, at colin.io. You can find my blog at exilelifestyle.com, and you can find my podcast at letsknowthings.com.